Welcome, everybody, to the main event 123. We are interviewing Blume Bauer today. I'm really looking forward to it because she does some very cool work, and she's also. I got the impression I never talked to her before today. I've texted with her and everything, but I got the impression that she was quite a character, and so I figured this is going to be a lot of fun today. I always like to start off with talking about the news, the AI news, can get that out of the way and go on. Last night's Midjourney news. Hey, Harriet, I like your little character. Last night, Midjourney introduced new features. We can now make looping videos, and it's possible to do it both on their site as well as Discord. The remix is now available on V7, which we weren't able to do before. A new higher quality MP4 output. Video can now be extended. You can set an end frame as well as a start frame. So those are some very nice improvements on Midjourney. I also posted a thing that Matthew Lorraine posted on an editing change by scribbling on any frame of a video and then prompting what changes you want in the area of that thing. He didn't specifically state what it was, what program it was, but he works for Google, so I suspect it's that. Jun Chao had a very nice demonstration of 2D to 3D, creating a 3D object, placing it into a scene, and then styling up, scaling it, and then animating it. And that was well worth watching. And then just a little short thing I didn't want you to miss is Tridib Ghosh, fun little scroll stopping post. It looks like there's two posts, like, one above the other. And the guy up above has got orange juice, and he pours it into the glass, reaching over the type and pouring it into the glass of the woman in the post below. So, anyways, that's what I've got. All of those things are in the comment section of the event. Also, as you know, this is being recorded, and after I get through editing it, I will post the video link comment section, but I'll also post telling people that YouTube video is available. That being said, I'm ready to get going here with Blume. Welcome, Eric. Diana, I'm glad to see you here too. Blume is in Lakeside, Oregon, and as you can see, she's got a beautiful cabin that she lives in. She lists herself as a arty POD instructor at the Yellow Studio, flower farmer, and obsessed with creating AI art and video.
Demonstrated good.
She writes about her childhood and her creative parents, and I'd like you to, tell us about your childhood and your parents because it's a very interesting story and certainly an indication of how to raise a child to be positive and confident in that they can set their mind out to do.
Yeah, I feel really lucky. Diana, I think you're unmuted, so your all
Yeah,
of your
Diana,
your
you're
voice is
you're
coming through.
unmuted.
Um, so yeah, I grew up with two artist parents. It was really wonderful to have that. My dad, even though he wasn't a fine artist, he was a poet and drew. He was a drafter of home plans, architectural plans. And so I really got a lot from him and his ability to be very technically perfect at drawing. And I got a lot from my mom, who was an oil painter. And when I was a kid, she painted oil paintings of portraits of people and of their families. She would have them sit for photos, and then she would use the photo to paint them. And growing up with those two artistic people around me, and we always had art books and art supplies, And I've always been an artist. I can't even remember the first time I drew anything or did anything, but I knew I was always going to be an artist in some way. Um, as Al was talking with me earlier this morning before we got started, my I told my dad when I was like 5 years old I was going to be a lawyer ballerina, and he was like, he asked me, do you mean a lawyer for ballerinas, or do you mean a ballerina and a lawyer? And I said, a ballerina and a lawyer, of course. And he told me, of course you will. You know, you can be anything you want. And that's always stuck with me. I think that one line, just that one time, you know, and then of course reinforcement over the years and encouragement for the things I do and try um, has obviously helped too. But you know, those things stick with you from when you're a small child. And I think that really did encourage me to go on a path that might be a little less traditional than some people. And, you know, I did start out in the corporate world when I was young. I worked for a portrait studio when I was very young. And then I got hired by Kodak and I ended up being on their 9-person national marketing team. And so it was really nice to have that. Combination of art and marketing. I think that helped build my career the way that it is now. I think a lot of us as artists are really not very keen on marketing, or it feels very complicated, or is too sophisticated, too above our heads to get to that point of learning to market ourselves. Or sometimes it's just uncomfortable, you know, to say, "Hey, I'm so great." And I think that it's really nice to have that balance, and I'm trying to give that to other artists now.
Well, I do want you to tell us about Charlie and Cupcake.
Oh, yes. Charlie and Cupcake were my horses. When I was little, when I was very little, like 1 or 2, we had a Shetland pony, and it was so cute, but so mean. And one day I was out there feeding the Shetland pony, and I had bent over in front of it with my rear end facing the pony and bent down to put the food in front of it. And I was just a little tiny thing. And the pony kicked me, and I rolled down the hill full of stickers because we were out in the desert. And I was came in crying, you know, full of stickers all over me, little scratches and cuts, and I was so upset. And we ended up giving that pony to one of the neighbors, neighboring farms. So, but so after that, I always wanted a horse again. And I asked every year for my birthday, can I please have a horse? Can I please have a horse? And when I would open a gift, I would say, what is it? What is it? And my dad would say, it's a pony. And it never was, you know, it was always a toy or whatever. When I was 8, though, my dad had worked for a client. He was an electrical contractor. And also an architectural draftsman. And um, he worked for a client, and they had a couple of horses that they were going to sell. And so he bought those horses for me, the 2 horses, and I named them Charlie and Cupcake. Charlie was the brown horse, and Cupcake was the white horse. And they were the sweetest horses. They loved me so much, but they did not love everyone else. No one else could ride them or take them anywhere, but they would mind me, and they loved me, and I rode them, and I would ride one and walk the other and then switch and ride the other and walk the other. And they were just so much fun to have. And it was such a good life lesson, I think, having animals that you have to take care of, because you learn really early on how much work another creature is to take care of. And you get a sense of responsibility and all of that. But they were just so sweet. I loved going out there and brushing them every day and feeding them apples and carrots and putting out the new salt licks and just the little sugar cube things. And just I loved having horses. It was really nice.
That's great. I mentioned to you that we had goats for 6 years. And in addition to that, having 6 sons, we had all kinds of pets. We had all kinds of lizards. We had tokay geckos, leopard geckos, we had chameleons, we had anoles, we had a Solomon Island tree skink,
Ooh.
and we had a green iguana that grew to be just about 4 foot long. We also had a red-tailed boa at one point out in the goat shed in order to keep the mice and the rats under control. We had a cat that was out in the goat shed with them. So we had all kinds of stuff, and we also had a goat. I mean, a dog. My wife and I now in our retirement have decided that we've had enough pets. We don't need we don't need to have another pet to take care of. But it was great for the kids, and it was just a lot of fun. We did a lot of 4-H shows with the goats, and the boys got to learn how to present and actually make uh, presentations that they put together about goat herding and stuff. So I appreciate that you had that kind of experience. Well, I will ask you the stupid question I came up with for this thing. I said when you're putting something like this together, you try to come up with various questions, and my stupid question was, Bloom, how did you become interested in flowers?
Well, I think I was kind of born with it since my name is Bloom, but I think it wasn't until I had this little cottage in the desert. It was on a dirt road with no neighbors, so it's kind of like in country, in the country. And I had a very little space to plant things in that yard. It was a rock yard with a little half circle of grass and then a little border planter in like a border of area to plant right in front of the house. And I just envisioned that making the cottage so dreamy, having all these little flowers growing up the front of the home. And so I had honeysuckle and jasmine and yellow roses. And it was so pretty. And that's when I became obsessed with flowers because I realized that with flowers, you can decorate the outside just like you can decorate the inside of your home. So that I just became obsessed with using color and shapes in the garden to create a beauty outdoors also. And now here in Oregon, everything grows like crazy. In the desert, I had to work so hard to keep everything going and keep everything beautiful. And not that I don't work on my garden daily here, but it just wants to grow here. It just goes nuts and everything grows really big and fast. And I just love that. I love using color and placing things in the proper places and just getting, making different heights of plants and different colors going together and all of that. I treat it like a design project. It's really fun.
That's great. Well, I would love to have you share your screen and show us some of your work.
Excellent. I would love to do that. I have a little presentation for you guys. I'm going to share some of my art and some of my video and also a little bit about what I do now with my work. So let me go here and get uh, this out of the way for a second.
We see it.
Excellent.
Great.
Okay. So I am Blume Bauer. If you don't know me, I'm the founder of the Yellow Studio, where I teach artists how to use AI and print on demand to build a flourishing, joy filled creative business. I'm also a working artist who uses AI to create fashion forward, surreal, and often sparkly visual stories and definitely floral. Today, I'll share a peek at my process and how artists can use these tools in beautiful, ethical, and empowering ways. Let's talk about why I fell in love with art, AI art. When I first started experimenting with AI, I was floored. It felt like having a creative assistant who could bring my most vivid imaginings to life, from brilliant florals to surreal dreamscapes I never thought I'd see outside of my own mind. As a painter, I can paint many things, but the way AI creates for me is such a different tool, a different realm. It just really makes that vision come to life immediately. And I can see using my AI art in my painting at some point as well. It hasn't happened yet, but I can definitely see it coming to life. What surprised me most is like how fast you can create without losing any of the heart of what you feel for the piece. I could explore and refine and tell full visual stories, ones that might have taken me months to paint by hand or even a year. And even more, I can animate my ideas, which that is so exciting to me. I love animation. I love video. I was always obsessed with movie making in college. I took several electives in filmmaking and film history, and I just really love the idea of making a film someday. So AI makes that possible now without having huge studio production budgets and all of that. So it's very exciting. Um, I want to walk you through a few of my creations, and the first one is a series of fashion that I created inspired by the traditional dress of other countries, including America, the US. Taking those traditional elements and then making them modern. So I wanted to go show you some of that series first. Um, I started with America. It was the thing that prompted this was in my Discord daily challenge group. I prompted one of the prompts for the day, or themes for the day, was America, and I wanted to see what America means to, each of us. And to me, it means that we are all cultures, all religions, all races, all types of people. Like they've always said, America is a melting pot, and we're all the things blended into one. And I kind of wanted to represent that in fashion and in this image where it's very red, white, and blue, but it's very striking. It's not something you would expect to see typically from an American, viewpoint in often in media. So, and then after that, once I did this one, and originally this was a 9 by 16, so it was just the woman with the background, and I expanded it in Photoshop. And after I did this one, I was just in love, and so I had to do more cultures, more styles. And so I went on to do Canada next. Of course, Canada is known for the maple leaf and their maple syrup, and I just wanted to make her just blend in and be one with the maple leaves with her fashion. And I think this one really came through like that. And France, I always think of France as uh, romantic and beautiful and just very luxe. And I wanted to get that across in this one. And Ireland, I always think of, when I think of Ireland, I think of the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. And so I wanted to create this beautiful rainbow, but also this gorgeous Irish woman in, more haute couture. Um, Jamaica. I love Jamaica and their rich colors and textures and patterns that they use in their fashion just blow my mind and make me just so excited to see. And Mexico, oh, I'm in love with Mexico. I know I say this about each country, but really, really, I'm in love with so many Mexican things. In fact, this whole wall behind me is going to become a collection of Milagros hearts. I'm obsessed with them. Um, and Sweden, I wanted to show the different side of Sweden, the forested side that we don't normally see. And I thought that putting her in a red dress in this dark forest, lush forest, would be a nice stark contrast. And South Korea, I took traditional clothing patterns and colors and then married them with more modern take on clothing that they would wear there. And Norway, I had to put her in the infamous ice hotel. This is what my imagining of it, what it looks like. I've never been. I would love to visit. It looks amazing. And the United Kingdom. I feel like the United Kingdom is so strong and brazen and um, such an old country and like so tough, in a way. And so I wanted to portray that through this more punk rock sort of version of the UK and UK fashion. So that is that series. I just uh I just love doing that. I created, I don't know, probably about 600 images for that series and then picked my very favorite ones to expand and turn them into a collection. So let's move on to my favorite thing to do these days is make AI video. And I'm sure you all are loving it, especially now that Midjourney does video. Oh my gosh, how exciting is that? Um, I'm madly in love with animating my best images
Hi.
and series of images. Uh, the first one I'm going to show you is All the Pretty Girls. And this was a quick, fun fashion video that I created to just kind of test the waters when Kling first came out. And so it's a pretty short one, so I'll play it twice just because I know sometimes the sound doesn't sync with Zoom. And since it's so short, hopefully the second time it will sync.
All the pretty girls walk like this, this. All the pretty girls walk like this.
So that was that one. I had so much fun with that one, and I used CapCut to edit it. And I love that it makes all the fun flashing and all of that. It was really fun.
And we'll rise up. All the pretty girls walk.
Sorry. Before I play the next one, I was going to tell you a little bit about it. It's Eternal Rise Monsters is the next one, and it was part of the Saturday Monster Challenge on LinkedIn, hashtag SMC. The song instantly came to mind for Eternal Rise uh, monsters, and I wanted to make them galaxy monsters because the galaxy is eternal. Well, at least for us, as much as we know it. The video was created with Halu, Minimax, and Canva to edit it together.
And we'll rise up. I like the waves. We'll rise up. In spite of the ache, we'll rise up. And we'll do it 1,000 times again.
That was so much fun. I love that monster challenge because it always pushes me to do something I would never do. As you can tell, it's so far off from my normal AI art. I normally work a lot with flowers and organic things, but that monster challenge always pushes me to do something new and interesting, and I just really love it. The next one I'm going to show you, I started getting into a little bit more storytelling, and I wanted to, start to make short films. And so this next one is called Tiny Travelers: Little Legends of the Sahara. It was started from a prompt in my Discord group. Again, the prompt was babies, and I made a toddler on an exotic animal in the Sahara Desert. And once I did one, I had to do hundreds of them. I was having so much fun. I kept picking different animals, different types of toddlers. It was just a blast. And I finally took all of that later when Kling came out. I took all of that into Kling and animated them and created a series of videos. And I'm going to show you one of them, my favorite one. Um, I used Kling for the animation and I used Adobe Premiere Pro for the editing for this one.
Forever young, I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever, will never. Forever young, I want to be forever young. Do you really want to live forever? Forever young. Some are like water, some are like the heat.
So as the tools get, you can see this is early Kling. You can see some of the face smearing and things like that. But as the tools get better and better, it makes me want to recreate these things, with a even better clarity. But that was so much fun to make, and I just really love the little toddlers. That one little boy waving his hand, hi, like he's on a parade float or something, just made me so happy. The next one I want to show you is the last one, the last video. It's called A Forest Tale, and it's a movie trailer, a fake movie trailer that I created. This one took the longest of everything. Combining the music and the video clips and the voiceover narration, and then tying it all together in a story was a lot more
Excuse me,
complicated.
Bloom, we
Sure.
can't see anything. It's a
Oh
black
yeah, I
screen.
know. I'm not
Oh,
gonna,
okay.
I'm gonna play it after I'm
Sorry.
done talking
I'm so
about it.
sorry.
That's okay. Because you won't be able to hear me once I hit play. But yeah, so I put all the putting all the clips together and putting all those elements together was a lot more work, but it was so much fun. And it gave me a really big respect for people that are making short films with AI because wow, it is intense. I used Kling to animate these clips and Adobe Premiere Pro to edit it together and 11 Labs for the voiceover. So here we go.
They say the forest keeps secrets. The humans are coming more often now.
But why?
Deep in the ancient woods, where shadows dance between twisted roots and fireflies paint rivers of light through the darkness, a world awakens. This summer, witness a tale woven through bark and branch, told in whispers of wind and secrets of soil, where every shadow holds a story and every path leads to wonder. Coming this summer to theaters everywhere. Change is stirring in the old growth. We must protect what's ours.
So there it is. That took me so long, months, but I was so excited when it was done. That was just so much fun. Uh, anyway, I hope you enjoyed all of those videos. I don't have the chat open, so after I'm all done with my presentation, I'll go ahead and look for questions. I'm sure Al can help me find any that popped up. So one of my favorite ways to use AI in addition to creating art and video is to use it for print on demand marketing. As artists, we spend hours trying to get these great mock-ups of our work on real products with, mugs and prints and apparel. But with Midjourney and ChatGPT, I've figured out a way to create custom, gorgeous mock-ups that actually match the vibe of the art that I'm creating. So, like, think about a retro floral design on a mug. If it was placed in a vintage camper kitchen, that emotional resonance boosts engagement and sales versus just that mug on a white background. So, in this example here that I have, this is the original image on the white from the print on demand company that they give you. And she's a really cute model and it's a really nice pose and they show the product really well and the pattern that I created. But it's a little boring, right? You know, it's just on a white background. You can tell it's print on demand because every print on demand has the exact same image. So before AI, I would at least at the minimum, you know, take the background off and give it a pretty mute neutral color to kind of make it a little more interesting. And I think this makes it look a lot nicer than just this plain white background. But then with AI, I can use Midjourney to create a gorgeous image, take it into ChatGPT and put the dress on the model, and voila, I have a gorgeous product mock-up. I think this sells the product so much better than just the generic print on demand mock-up. And I have another example for you. Same new pattern, same thing, the original mock-up, the one with the beige background, and then the Midjourney and ChatGPT. It just gives you more pride in your product, you know. It's a really fun way to finally get custom mock-ups that don't look like anyone else's. Now, if I were to want the models to look a little more real, I think I would take them into Topaz's new photo upscaler, Blume, Bloom. Um, it will give the model, you know, a more realistic skin texture and all of that. But for my designs, I don't mind this more illustrative, more painterly look because my art is kind of illustrator painterly. So for me that goes well together. But if I were doing a different style of product, I might want it to look the model to look a little more real. We're getting some realness in the hands, but the face is definitely very smooth. And then in this one, I took a t-shirt. This is the original mock-up they give you is, you know, a t-shirt, a flat lay of a t-shirt with the design. And here I used the Midjourney ChatGPT and then Canva to add branding here at the bottom. And then I went a little bit further with this one and created a video. And it's just stills of the image, but it's just to show you how simple a video could be to market your products. If this video is on Pinterest, it's going to stand out in that feed of still images and get people's attention. So I'll show you that one.
I can't believe that you came into my life. You made me feel again. Now it's my turn.
So it's just a quick little short video. If you have products on Etsy, it's also really helpful to have video. If you have a video, they push your products more to the top. And so there's some really cool benefits. And I just made this a 9:16 format instead of the standard format and then edited it together in Canva. So let me talk a little bit about the Yellow Studio because that is where this whole print on demand and product placement comes together. I built the Yellow Studio to give artists a cozy but strategic space to thrive. Currently, it's a Facebook community and one-off courses as I build the full year-long membership that will have a full breadth of courses that teach you to go from artist to print-on-demand business, including marketing and strategies and organic and paid and all of the things you'll need to get like really a fully fleshed out business going, from creating beautiful print on demand products to eventually having passive income. And passive income is an interesting word to me because I think when we think of passive income, we think of it being income that we didn't have to work for. And that's kind of a misnomer. I want to start using a different phrase because really there is work put into it on the front end, but the passive part is that you're making sales, when you're in bed watching a movie or when you're off with your friends, you get a little ding on your phone and you've made a sale. That is where the passive income comes in, but it doesn't mean it doesn't have any work, to get there. And at the Yellow Studio, we don't do bro marketing. No offense to anyone who loves bro marketing. I even watch a lot of bro marketing. I can love quite a bit of it. I love Gary Vee, all of that stuff. But at the Yellow Studio, I want to teach, slow living, building a strong foundation, and having a business that brings you joy, not just money. So, we want both. We want a happy uh, crossover between the two. Um, And the Yellow Studio is different because it's not just about making money or making art. It's more about building a life that feels good, that feels like I get time for myself, I get time for my business, and it's exciting and it's fun and it's something that I want to wake up and do every day. And that's what I want to bring to artists. I think a lot of us as artists, um, we want to create full time, and you can if you can get something, a system going, and that is something I've built into the year-long courses as well. Is there'll be a strategy for building a system that works for you to where you can actually manage marketing and creating art and building your business while also giving yourself time to breathe. Um, I want to teach real artists how to build a system that works for them, not the other way around. So, if this is something that any of you feel interested in, I would love to invite you to join my Lemon Drops in the Yellow Studio group on Facebook. It's facebook.com/groups/your Yellow Studio, or you can search at your Yellow Studio and it should come up. Uh, I would love to see you there and chat with you. You can ask questions. I share tips daily about print on demand and growing your business and marketing. Um, I really believe artists deserve abundance, and so I'm here to try to help make that possible. You can also follow me on social media. I'm on YouTube and TikTok, the most Facebook next, and LinkedIn, Instagram, of course. And I'm at Blume Bauer on all the channels. Oh, and I should have had Pinterest on here too. I'm on Pinterest as well. I love Pinterest for marketing. If you do products, use Pinterest. And that's my presentation. I want to thank you guys all for coming. I'm so excited you're all here. I can't wait to answer your questions in the chat. You can email me if you have questions at bloom@youryellowstudio.com. And my website, you can sign up for my email newsletter at youryellowstudio.com as well. I would love to hear from you and help you with your future print on demand businesses, your art businesses. I love answering questions and helping artists. So reach out whenever you need to. Thank you all so much. I really am I love getting to chat with you all and share all of this stuff with you.
That was terrific. You should turn on your chat at the bottom, like the second button. A lot of people have said some very nice things about your stuff. One of the questions was, what is bro advertising?
Oh, bro marketing. Bro marketing is kind of more like in your face marketing and hustle culture. Let's hustle, let's be in everyone's faces, and that's how we're going to make the sale. And I feel like as artists, that's kind of against most of our nature. Most of us are a little more intuitive, a little more soft, and that's the kind of place I come from. So if that connects with you, that's the kind of teaching I do is is a softer approach. I like to build brand and um, build that way instead of trying to make the sale. I'd rather build my brand than make the sale, have to always continue to make the sale.
Okay, people, I'd like to open this up for questions or comments. Down on the bottom of your screen, there's a react button. And if you scroll up, there's a raise hand button. So if you want to say something, I'd appreciate it if you raise your hand and we can call on you.
Uh, so Diana says, I wonder if you also help folks like me begin to earn something for their images. Yes, that is what I do with print on demand products. So I teach, how to do prints of your artwork. You can get it. I mean, you can put AI art on anything, mugs, journals, t-shirts, clothing, if you do pattern design. So yeah, that's the sort of thing I love to teach for sure. Thank you all for all your sweet words. I see all of your comments in here now and they're very beautiful. I just wanted to say thank you, all of you. It's very sweet. I'm so glad you're all here.
All well deserved. Eric, yes.
Thank you, Bloom. A wonderful presentation, fantastic artwork. I have two questions, actually three questions for you. One, um, I've been procrastinating putting my AI website together because I do want to try to sell some artwork in various modes of, giving people choices of, cups or paintings or however they want to use it. The platform I'm using also allows AR capability so they could actually take the artwork that they're seeing and put it up on their wall so they can actually see how it would look in their room. Because that's one thing that people usually, stop the sale from. Like, I wonder how it's going to look. And then, like, I'm not sure. But this way they can actually see how it's going to look in their room. So, my question is this: how do you decide what kind of art to put on a AI art website that you want to sell work, like they lands, like what sells? Landscapes, pets, uh, abstract, what really sells? Question one. Question two, how do you know how to price those things? So those are two of my questions. And then question number three, I was just curious on your country um, presentation, Canada, Norway, and all that. What your workflow was on creating those images. So, sorry if there are a lot of questions there, but there they are.
That's okay. That's okay. I'm excited to have questions. And so to answer your first question, what sells? It's really so varied, because we're all so unique, right? So really anything can sell. What I always recommend is that you pick something you're passionate about, because if you're passionate about, that will come through in your marketing and in your branding. And so like if you love fly fishing, then make lots of fly fishing images, images of fish, whatever. I think having the things you're passionate about is what will sell. Like I love florals, so I make tons of floral things, and occasionally I throw in other patterns like those alligators you saw in the dresses earlier. um I think that really it's about passion and what you are excited about, because you'll be able to talk to that more too. If you were a fly fisherman, when you make your posts on social media, your organic marketing is going to be make more sense, because you're going to be able to talk to that subject that, and say terms that only fly fishermen know, and you'll connect with them. And so I really think that creating that connection with your audience is really important for sales, especially if you want to create a brand. And then the second tip I would give for what sells is to pick pieces you're most proud of. When you're creating, go back through and narrow it down. Pick your 30 favorite out of a series, and then narrow that down to 10, and then narrow that down to 5, and maybe even narrow that down to 3, the 3 best ones. And what you'll notice as you learn to refine each collection is that you'll get better and better at picking out the best of the best pieces that you created. And then those are more likely to sell too, because you really worked hard on refining them and getting to them to the point where they are something that is more high end, more sellable. But and then last, I'd say, things like landscapes are going to be very popular in home decor. So if you're thinking for prints on a wall, and but then also people love art, unique, original, wild art. But of course, that's less popular for sales, many sales. Of course, a beautiful landscape is going to sell more times than a really unique piece of artwork, because a really unique piece of artwork is going to speak to the unique people that appreciate that art. But as your brand grows and as you build your collections, people will start to recognize your style of art and they'll start to want to collect it as well. I know my mom is still a working artist and she makes beaded artwork now. She actually paints with beads. She hand lays with tweezers each individual bead onto a canvas and creates these beautiful 3D paintings, and they're really elaborate and they're really time consuming. And she has people that collect them now because they are just so excited about her pieces. And when a new one comes out, people will buy them and add them to their collection. So that can happen as well. Your second question was, oh shoot. Um,
Pricing.
Pricing. Oh, yes, pricing. So pricing is a great question. Now that we have AI, before in the past, I would go to Etsy, honestly, if I were looking to price. And so I still do a combination of two things. I like to go on Etsy and see what similar items are selling for. And there'll be a range. There'll be a low budget price and there'll be a really ridiculously high price. And the really high price is probably going to be a more well-known artist if they're actually making sales at that price range. Um, the more well-known you are as an artist, the more you can sell your artwork for, right? A Salvador Dali sells for more than a Blume Bauer. I'm just not as famous. But uh, if you look at those prices and you get the low and the high, you can come somewhere in the middle that feels good to you. And that's another thing that's like an instinct thing. You want to be proud of your price. You want to feel like you're not gouging people, but you also want to feel like you're going to make some money on it that feels reasonable. So you don't want to go like super low, like that low end person, and you don't want to go super high probably until you have a big brand. Um, but I really think that that's a great place to look is Etsy to start. And then the second way that I would look now is I would use ChatGPT to go and I would just ask, what is the average price of a landscape print on via print on demand for sale online, and then they will give you an average price, that the AI will give you an average price, and it'll give you a bottom and a top, and then you can pick something in between that feels good. I always recommend making sure that you know your base price, what the print price is going to be, and the shipping. If you're going to include the shipping in the product, you'll want to add that into the price so you're not eating that. And then, oh, could I show my mom's work? Yeah. Uh, the You'll want to make sure that that is calculated in there, and then you'll want to make sure that you have enough profit over the top. Now, with print on demand, it's a little bit different than you would normally price bulk products. So if I ordered my t-shirts from a silk screener and I order 36 t-shirts, and let's say the cost per t-shirt was around 350, and I might charge $20 for a t-shirt, that's a great profit margin. It's a way better profit margin than you're probably going to get with print on demand. But the great thing about print on demand versus going to a silk screener or something like that, or a printer getting 100 prints of your art, is that you don't have to carry the inventory and you don't get stuck with inventory. That is often what happens before print on demand. You would get stuck with inventory. I used to sell that way when I started out because there wasn't print on demand. Well, there was Cafe Press, and I don't know if any of you remember Cafe Press, but it was literally iron on designs. It was not real great. um, but ever since sublimation printing, it's all changed quite a bit. But I really think, oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Um, oh goodness, I lost where I was coming back to.
I think it's okay when you
We're
talk
talking
about
about the
that
tea.
because we need that thinking and reflecting and dropping and coming back. I think it's good.
You're talking about the difference between print on demand and silk screening.
Oh yes, thank you, Flory. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So, when you're carrying that inventory, you get stuck with inventory. If you order two smalls and five larges and 16 extra larges, maybe you get stuck with the smalls, maybe you get stuck with some of the larges, and and now you can't sell those because people want more extra larges, and now you've got to order more shirts, even though you still have more shirts left to sell inventory stuck. So it's really, really nice. The other cool thing about print on demand is there's no overhead costs. So like when you're going to a silk screener, you're going to pay a screen setup fee the first time you order that design and every design after that. And so with print on demand, you're not paying that screen setup fee. And I think that's kind of like a hidden fee in silk screening and in bulk product ordering. They don't really show you that up front. They show you like the per product price and it looks really low. And then you find out later that there's a big setup fee. And that's with almost any kind of bulk ordered product. So when you're pricing your print on demand product, you keep that in mind is that you have way less overhead. You're not having that screen setup fee. You're not having to pay uh, typically at a a silk screen shop, you're paying about 6 employees to create your collection, your box of products, whereas at the print on demand, it's typically like one person is working on each product for you. The other really cool thing I love about print on demand, and this is something that's like it's eco-friendly, and that is something I'm really passionate about with fast fashion, we're putting so much clothing and products in the landfills that don't sell. So a company is ordering 1,500, 2,000, 10,000 pieces of a particular t-shirt. And whatever doesn't sell, sometimes it doesn't have anywhere to go and it goes to the landfill. And how awful is that? I mean, why are we not sending these things to homeless people? I don't know, but unhoused people, I don't know. But I think that print on demand is a really cool way to get into the product industry without causing more environmental consequences. And as inks and prints get even more environmentally friendly and the product creation gets more environmentally friendly, it's becoming better and better and better. They now have recycled materials that things are printed on. They have they have better inks that are more eco-friendly. The inks were kind of bad at first, and when they realized that they were bad for the environment, they started creating new things. And so I think the print-on-demand industry is really, really eco-conscious and interested in making sure that we move forward in a really healthy way for our earth, and that's really, really important.
Bloom, Linda's got a question. Let's hear from Linda.
Yes.
Hey, Bloom, how are you?
Hi, Linda.
Hi, how are you, Big Al? It's good to see your face. I wanted to get on and encourage you to tell other people about something that you've created. It can feel incredibly overwhelming to put all the pieces together to create a store for yourself. I mean, it could feel overwhelming. And Bloom has created this system over like 100 days of doing one thing a day to get you closer to having the store. Because if you're trying to keep your other business going while you're trying to start this, it just can feel like more than you can handle. So I just wanted to throw that out there, Bloom, because it's incredibly helpful. The way you've created a way for people to make it possible to start a store, but not overnight.
Oh, thank you, Linda. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not an overnight thing, but you can set up your store in a day and you can get started and then you can keep working towards it and just, build and build and build. And a lot of people ask me, can I start with one product? And I'm like, yeah, everybody has to start somewhere. So yes, open your store, have one product, you're just starting and you're just starting to market it. It's not going to be seen by millions of people right off the bat anyway. And so you might as well get started, get it out there, get people excited that you're going, and just, keep moving forward with that.
Thank you.
Bloom,
Thanks, Linda.
go ahead, Linda.
Oh, no, I just wanted to thank Bloom because it just broke pieces down to something that I thought was manageable, and I could understand how parts of the whole process connect, because there's a lot of little connections along the way to get paid, the way to get it made, the way to have it on your website, to have it on another website, on Pinterest, and she just made it really easy.
Thank you. Thanks, Linda. I appreciate it.
I have a question for you, Bloom, and that is, how many different places are you selling? You mentioned Etsy and Pinterest. Where else are you selling? And I guess how much time do you spend on setting up these places where you're selling things?
Great question. I sell on Etsy and my own website, theyellowboutique.com or theyellowdesk.com, and also on blumebauer.com is where my illustration art lives. I I would say that setting it all up is fairly quick. I mean, it depends. I'm a web designer, so setting up the website part of it all is pretty quick, but now with AI, it can be quick also, even if you're not a web designer. Um, I think that I like the combination of selling on Etsy and my own website. I only market to my own website. I only use paid ads to my own website so that I can gain that customer knowledge. Through Etsy, I don't really gain as much customer knowledge. I get their name and their location, but that's about it. I don't get an email address or anything else. And so I only do paid ads to my own websites. But I do also sell on Etsy because Etsy has its own algorithm for sales, and I make, I'd say I'd make about 25% of my sales there and about 75% of my sales on my own website. As far as time invested, I would say when I first started with print on demand specifically, I did a thing where I started with leggings and surface design. Surface design is when you create patterns that will get printed on fabric for a product. It can be furniture, clothing, throw pillows, anything like that involves a fabric. And I started with leggings because I loved Lula Rose legging idea. It was really cute and they had all these really fun patterns, but none of them were my style. I wanted bold florals and I wanted like cutesy things that just they didn't have. And so I just started making my own. And my initial goal was to design a new legging every day for 90 days leading up to the holiday season. And so it was my full-time job basically starting that shop. I uh, worked every single day making a new design. Actually, I got to the point where I was making 7 designs at the beginning of the week and spending the rest of the week marketing, and so that was really great. Anytime you can batch create is a wonderful thing. But yeah, so that's how I got started. And then, like I said, once you do that work on the front end, the back end work now is just continuing to market those products over time. But then you're just making sales like while we're sitting here talking on Zoom.
Maria's got a question. Maria?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Bloom, for a great presentation and super inspiring. I'm stoked, and I'm already in your Facebook group, and I follow you on LinkedIn now. I really love this. So it's actually 2 things, but you were saying about Etsy. So I just wanted to ask because I've done book to Amazon. So now I'm in the process of making my own website and sell from that. So I can order home the copy and sell it from my website and order it from Amazon, and they will ship it, and I can take more money for it because I can put in extra and so on. So I was just wanted to ask if you can do that on Etsy, that you take the order from your website and you can send it through Etsy direct to the client. Can you do that?
So I think what you're asking me is, can someone order from your website and then send it to them through Etsy?
Yes. I'm
Uh,
sorry, my English is
that's okay. That's okay. No, your English is great.
Okay.
I wouldn't recommend that. I would just ship it straight to the, because you'll get, when they order from your website, you'll get their information and everything. Um, the only reason to ship through Etsy is when they order from Etsy, really. Uh, are you going to be doing print on demand products, or do you have products that oh, you said drop shipping, right?
No, no. I was just wondering because, like you said, that you couldn't get the email address.
Did you have a beverage also?
Did somebody open their mic?
Yeah, it was an open
Uh,
mic.
Okay, so no, I was just wondering about, because I have never had Etsy.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And like you said, with the email address, because you really want that.
Yes,
So if I
exactly.
could take the order on my side, but send it through Etsy just to get all the practical stuff down there, like I can do with Amazon. But that's not the case because they need to do the order from Etsy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would not probably combine those two. Like if they order from your website, just ship it straight from your website or from wherever
Yeah.
you get your products. And then if even if it's drop shipping, you would ship it just direct to the customer. Because you would get their address and their email and everything there. And then
Yes.
when selling on Etsy, then you would ship through Etsy. But like I said, the disadvantage with Etsy is you're not getting their email address.
If you
Mm.
are charging people directly, are you accepting credit cards or are you using PayPal or Cash App? How do you get paid from them?
I use Wix for my website builders. And so on Wix, they have Wix payment processing. And so I can take credit cards and I can also take PayPal. And I can also take the Easy
Stripe?
Pay where they pay in payments for products that are over $35.
Okay. Maria, do you have anything else or we're
Yeah,
good?
yeah. I just wanted to ask if you could share a picture of something your mama has done.
Oh, yes, I saw that you asked that, and I was thinking, oh yeah, I could do
Yeah,
that for
okay.
sure.
Yeah,
Let
thank you.
me. She loves the ocean. There's a nice close up. So yeah, she actually became sensitive to the oil painting chemicals, turpentine and all the different things we use with oil painting. And so she had to find a different medium that didn't cause her to have those chemical sensitivities. And beading ended up being the thing that worked out great. And that's a picture of her on the right with her puppy.
I'm only
So
imagining taking some of these images into Midjourney and animating them.
yeah, that would be incredible. Although I feel like you would lose a lot of those little tiny beaded details, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, just to
Yeah.
see it, that's all. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be fun.
I just had one other question. Do you use Instagram at all to help sell the work, to promote it?
I'm not that big on Instagram. I know a lot of people are, and it is a really good sales tool. But for me, Pinterest is a way better sales tool. It's evergreen. The thing about Instagram is that your post only lives maximum about 48 hours unless it goes viral, and then it might last like a week. But it's really rare that people go to your actual feed and look through for products unless you kind of are already well known. Um, so what I love about Pinterest marketing is that the posts are evergreen. So if someone searches for, in fact, someone just bought the other day, I have a mermaid tail. It's a mermaid tail on a, what was it on? Oh, it was on the oh, why can't I? Oh, rash guard, to protect your skin from the sun. And I have this illustration that I drew, and it's on the front of that. And someone had searched, I asked how they found the product, and the woman said she found it on Pinterest. Well, I pinned that pin of that illustration on that product probably 4 years ago, and she found it just the other day searching for mermaid products and then bought it. So that's the cool thing about Pinterest is your pins are evergreen. They last forever in the search. And Google works with Pinterest. If you ever notice when you Google images, do you ever notice that most of the images that just show up at the top are Pinterest images? That's because Google favors Pinterest images because they know it's an image heavy source. And so that's a great source to use when you click on images for finding those sorts of things. So yeah, I really love Pinterest. It's my go-to for marketing products.
Well, I have a feeling we could go on and on. We're already about 11 minutes over. Fascinating today and great information as well as beautiful work. I do want to mention that next three main events. Next week, Aikina Mokwi from London is going to be showing some of his really funny videos that he's been producing. The next week, on the 8th, Brant Hildman is going to be talking about living AI, and he has developed a program that trying to grow across emotions and ethical and cognitive dimensions. I think it'd be very interesting to do that and meet his two computer friends, Bob and Alice. And then on the 15th, we have our wonderful artist Deepika Grover from India is going to be with us. So going to be, 3 terrific weeks, and I urge you to come to all of them. Again, Blume, thank you so much. This was great, and I'm really glad to have an opportunity to get to know you through this. And let's stay in touch.
Yes,
And
absolutely, Al. This has been great. Thank you.
and then everybody else, thank you so much for coming. And I'm going to stop the recording now.